It is 10 minutes till 5 a.m. in Australia. And it is 10 minutes till 10 a.m. in California. Welcome to the AntiClimactic NonShow. Oh, look at this. Michael Cohen has been sentenced to 3 years in jail. 36 months for Trump's former lawyer for making illegal hush money payments and lying to Congress. So there's 36 months, first person, in this crazy net that's starting to close around the administration now. And the deals are being made. So there we go. Theresa May is facing a no confidence vote. Wow, so she could be dumped over this Brexit fumble. What else we got going on in the world here? Take a look at the Times. Yeah, they've got the Trump story. Or rather, the sentencing of Michael Cohen, Trump's ex-lawyer. If you haven't been following this, the Mueller probe is now starting to turn over a lot of people who are realizing they're going to get in trouble if they don't. Wall Street Journal. Okay, cool. Right, finance. I forgot. Omar's interested in finance. I prefer the Financial Times, ft.com. If I'm honest with you, if I'm going to sort of get interested in covering business. But let's take a look at the Wall Street Journal, which was bought by the Rupert Murdoch group, I think it was in 2010. Of course, the Wall Street Journal, the original Wall Street Journal, very different publishing group. So let's see, you want it from the Journal? Let's take a look at it from the Journal. Culminating a legal saga that led Mr. Trump's own Justice Department to directly implicate the sitting president in federal crimes is in the sub on this. Sentencing in Manhattan court follows a guilty plea to 9 felonies, including 2 campaign finance violations. Michael Cohen, President Trump's longtime fixer and personal attorney, was sentenced to 3 years in prison, culminating in a legal saga that led Mr. Trump's own Justice Department to directly implicate the sitting president in federal crimes. Mr. Cohen, 52 years old, was sentenced in Manhattan federal court Wednesday after pleading guilty in recent months to 9 felonies, including 2 campaign finance violations related to payments he arranged during the 2016 presidential campaign to silence 2 women who said they had... Well, see, now I haven't subscribed to it, so I can't really read this, can I? But this is, in fact, news of the day. It's on everybody's front page, it looks like. Oh, and of course, an advisor of Cohen's says he will tell all about Trump. That's pretty cool. But yeah, today's show is not like a normal program. We're doing some changes to the backgrounds. We're organizing the space a little bit. Let's take a look at the post. Look at the posts real quick. Decries his blind loyalty. Cohen told the judge he's been living... Oh, this is great. Listen to this. This is fantastic. Okay, Michael Cohen sentenced to 3 years in prison for crimes committed while working for Trump. This by Matt Zapotosky and Devlin Barrett from the Post today. A federal judge has sentenced President Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen to 3 years in prison for financial crimes and lying to Congress. As the disgraced former fixer apologized for his conduct, but also said he felt it was his duty to cover up the dirty deeds, that's a quote, of his former boss. Cohen made an emotional, teary apology to U.S. District Judge William H. Pauley III, taking responsibility for crimes that included tax violations, lying to a bank, and buying the silence during the 2016 campaign of women who alleged had affairs with the future president. Typo in the paper. Quote, my weakness could be characterized as a blind loyalty to Donald Trump, close quote, Cohen told the packed courtroom. He stood at a podium sniffling and fighting back tears as he spoke, and paused occasionally to regain his composure. The judge also ordered Cohen to pay nearly $2 million in financial penalties. Pauley said Cohen's sentence should reflect the competing interests of his case, punishing those who repeatedly break the law and rewarding those who cooperate and provide truthful testimony. Quote, our democratic institutions depend upon the honesty of our citizenry in dealing with the government, Pauley said, calling Cohen's crimes serious, particularly given his profession. Quote, as a lawyer, Mr. Cohen should have known better. Tax evasion undercuts the government's ability to provide essential services upon which we all depend, the judge said. While Mr. Cohen is taking steps to mitigate his criminal conduct by pleading guilty and volunteering useful information to prosecutors, that does not wipe the slate clean. Quote, Mr. Cohen selected the information he disclosed to the government. This court cannot agree with the defendant's assertion that no jail time is warranted. In fact, this court firmly believes that a significant term of imprisonment is fully justified in this highly publicized case to send a message, the judge said. Trump made no immediate statements following the sentencing. Cohen pleaded guilty in two separate cases. One was brought by Robert S. Mueller III, who is investigating Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election over Cohen's lies to Congress. The other was brought by federal prosecutors in New York over tax and bank fraud allegations and campaign finance violations. In his emotional appeal for leniency, Cohen denounced what he called his own weakness in the service of his former boss, the president. Quote, I stand before your honor humbly and painfully aware that we are here today for one reason, because of my actions that I pled guilty to, Cohen said. Quote, I take full responsibility for each act that I pled guilty to, the personal ones to me, and those involving the President of the United States of America. Cohen said there was a deep irony about his sentencing because he felt that he was finally getting free from Trump. Quote, today is the day I am getting my freedom back as you sit at the bench and contemplate my fate, close quote. He said, I have been living in a personal and mental incarceration ever since the fateful day that I accepted the offer to work for a famous real estate mogul whose business acumen I truly admired. In fact, I now know there is little to be admired, close quote. Cohen cited a recent tweet from the president calling Cohen weak for cooperating and said the president was right, but not in the way he meant. Quote, it was my own weakness and a blind loyalty to this man that led me to choose a path of darkness over light. Close quote, he said. Open quote, time and time again, I felt it was my duty to cover up his dirty deeds, close quote. Cohen was joined in court by his wife and children. Upon leaving, he strode past a bank of television cameras, ignoring a microphone stand that had been set up, and departed in a black SUV. 36 months, 3 years for Cohen's Avenatti, the attorney for one of the women, said, Donald Trump is next. Michael Cohen was sentenced today. Donald Trump is next, says